And my buddy Gamma Crush does a show in Guelph, and he syndicates it in Kingston and a whole bunch of other cities. So, and he runs some of my interviews and segments on there. So that's why Conja says I'm on like 10 different stations. So I
Yeah,
end up on a
you
bunch.
get around.
I get around, yeah, it's pretty cool. So,
That's awesome, though.
oh, looks like we just went live. Yeah, having a lot of fun doing it. So,
That's what it's all about.
yep, focusing on a lot of local guys on the show Monday night, and I'm gonna have another one
I can't hear you.
on next night.
Chase, your audio is breaking up. I can't hear you.
All right, fellas, about to be back on there right now, and I'm gonna bring everybody in. So, all right, here we go. Oh yeah, it's our show right here, WPRK, Winter Park, Florida, 91.5 FM, broadcasting live on the internet at itsourshow.net. Let me run through the tracks we just played because we've got our special guests in the building right now. All right, here's the instrumental in the background. This is DJ Mitsu the Beats out of Japan. Now, you may be familiar with him because he's part of that group that's been playing on the show called Gaggle out of Japan. So big shouts to Shotiku Records and the homie Mayumi and the MC Hunger. Word up. So Mitsu the Beats kind of did like a Jay Dilla inspired compilation. So this is off of there. It's called All Work Out. Before that, we had New Confidence featuring the Regiment called Can It Be. Before that, big shout to Cody. He called about this track, Winning Ways, with Interlude. Before that was The Black Opera, produced by YU, called Beyond Behold the Opera. Before that, we had brand new Black Milk featuring Bun B. The track is called Gold Piece. And we saw some homegrown Ozone Orlando hip hop with Table for Three with the track Side Chain Theory. All right, now it's with my great pleasure and honor to, well, you know what? I'm going to have Chase introduce himself real quick, and then we'll introduce our special guest. So, Chase, you there? Can you hear me? Is he frozen? Is everybody frozen?
I can hear you.
Okay, of course, Chase. Oh, man. There's always when we're about to get something started. All right, look like Chase is coming back in. Hey, Chase?
Hey, hey.
Hey, sir, introduce yourself the De La Way. I am by B.
I am Chase March, and I be the host of Word is Bond Rap Radio up here on Canada, Monday nights at midnight on CHRW 94.9, Saturday nights at midnight on 93.3 CFMU, and on a bunch of other stations wherever it gets simulcast.
All right, word up, word up. And I am Conscious, and I'd be very proud to be able to introduce. Now, we've been trying to get this interview going for a minute, you know what I mean? And I'm glad it's happening now because there's things that happen that is going to make it even more insightful for people. You know what I'm saying? More value to people because I'm predicting a whole lot of knowledge about to be dropped. No pressure or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I'm proud to introduce DJ Z from DJBooth.net. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Conscious, thank you so much for having me. You were not kidding. We've been trying to do this for about 6 months. Better late than never, right?
Exactly. And you know, everything happens for a reason, and the timing couldn't be better. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, yes, it's going to be a good one. So, like I said, you're from DJBooth.net, but before we get into that, I want to know more about, DJ Z, the person, like coming up. You know what I mean? Are you originally from Chicago or?
Yes, originally from Chicago, born and raised, and I was pretty much brought up in a household where my parents, they made sure that every single type of music was played in the house. So whether it was rock and roll or it was Motown, no country music though, I should say. There was definitely no country music played in the house, but rock and roll, Motown, and they basically said, look, we love music, we want you to love music, and that's kind of my foray into basically R&B, hip-hop. I don't want to lose any street credibility, but pop music as well.
Honestly, I mean, DJ Booth is one of the biggest hip-hop websites. I don't think you're going to lose much street cred. You know what I mean?
I hope not.
Proving yourself. You know what I'm saying? The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Now, so you had all type of music being played in the household. What was your first memory of hip-hop?
Wow. Well, I'd say my first memory of hip-hop was probably Run DMC. For a white kid who grew up on the borderline between the city and the burbs, the mainstream really had to break hip-hop for me to see it. And so when Run DMC and Aerosmith collaborated on Walk This Way, that kind of bridged the gap. And then, of course, any kid who really wants to know more, what does he do? He seeks out as much as he can. I remember going to the library and checking out tapes. Yes, tapes back in the day. I'd check out Michael Jackson, and I would check out Biz Markie, and I'd check out KRS-One. I'd check out Tupac. And from dubbing tapes to then ripping CDs to downloading MP3s, if the music was out there, I was destined to find it.
Nice. And Chase, feel free to jump in anytime you want. So if you have any questions or anything, sir.
Run DMC, best group of all time, in my humble opinion. I love those guys.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jam Master Jay.
Yeah, it really was a tragedy that we lost him. Speaking of that, rest in peace, Proverb. I can't believe we just lost him.
Yeah. I played one of his joints at the top of the show, and it's crazy. Because like I was saying, he was supposed to actually come through the show, sometime, because he's in Tampa, you know what I mean? And
I seriously talked to him last week. He said props on the podcast. I was going to have him on my show. I was talking to him last week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it really hit me hard actually on Monday. Obviously I work with hundreds of people on a daily basis, thousands on a weekly basis. Admittingly, though, there are very few people that kind of touch you. And most of the time when people reach out to me, they want something. They want a feature, they want coverage, they want support, they want backing. But that was not what he was. He was a very selfless, very giving, very humble individual, always looking for knowledge. He interviewed me for his blog last year and literally reached out to me on Monday of this past week. There was an artist who asked him, hey, how can I get on djbooth.net? And he asked me if I could get his music played or posted, and I told him to make the introduction. He sent me the music on Tuesday, and then, of course, just the awful news of his passing on Wednesday. And it's just surreal. You go from talking to someone on one day, and then the next day they're gone. It's still really kind of hard for me to wrap my head around.
Right, because it's weird. Because I mean, like we were just saying, we just spoke to this man, all three of us, within 2 weeks, and then but there is something I forgot. Mike Trampy. Yes, he set up a fund for his family, and so I'm going to post that up I set up automatic posts, and that is every hour I'm having something post about that, you know what I'm saying, for people to go and, donate to the family, because, I mean, he was, like you said, selfless. He just always gave knowledge. He's always helping people, and I think it's time that people, kind of return the favor for all the knowledge that he drops, so.
I agree.
All right, so from the mean, gritty streets of Chicago, how did we get into the digital era? Like, what was your foray into the internet?
It was an accident. I'm kidding. Actually, kind of was. I did radio at Illinois State University.
Oh, wait, you did college radio?
I did college radio. That's where I kind of got my start.
Dope. All right, nice. So that's DJ Z. So okay, the DJ Z. So DJing started when?
DJ starting when I was in college, so 2002. Basically, I was doing debate and television in high school. For my entire life, my parents said, you know, you talk a lot. You should probably get someone to pay you to continue to do that. So the first week of college, I went to the radio station, and as fate would have it, the host of the Saturday night show that weekend quit. And the program director on that Thursday said, can I interview you for a job right now? And I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. Lo and behold, that interview, and 1 weekend later, I became the Saturday night show host, and that led to a better slot. Because, of course, when you're starting out, the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. shift is not really the best.
Well, you get some interesting listeners and callers during that time. So I know about that. Frankly.
Yes, interesting with an asterisk, to say the least. Needless to say, that became the 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. slot. I met up with another gentleman who was looking to get his feet in the door of radio. We had a very successful college radio program. We were actually nominated for 2 Illinois Broadcaster Association awards and 2 national awards for our show, the Saturday Night Party. Yes, getting you ready to go out on your Saturday night. And I mean, Z106 Jams, which was the station, I was able to meet program directors of other stations, record label executives, marketing and promotion firms, artists, producers, other DJs. And that was my in. I thought I loved music enough to get into the business, but lo and behold, I never knew it was going to be what it is today.
That's dope. So now, kind of describe the format of the show? How did that run?
The format of the show was pretty simple. So we had the 7 o'clock hour, which was brand new music that was released that week. The 8 o'clock hour, we had a pre-taped interview with an artist or a producer or a DJ. And then the 9 o'clock hour was a contest giveaway, some sort of promotion, very interactive. Basically, we ask questions, you call up. On a college radio station, we pretty much had creative freedom, which is something you don't get in the commercial world. And so we took it for all it was worth, that's for sure.
Name some of the artists that you had on Saturday Night Party.
Oh, geez. One of the artists who actually, I would like to say we helped to introduce to the mainstream, at least in our area, was at the time, he was a native of Gary, Indiana, Freddie Gibbs. Wow. He used to call up almost every Saturday night to the show. I would beg him for 10 minutes before we went on not to swear live on air or I would be fired.
I don't have like mountains of coke or anything with him. Did he like put that in the car, right?
No, he was good. For the most part, he stayed away from swearing. But yeah, I mean, for us at the time, I mean, we were very new to this all. I mean, I just kind of went out and did as much as I possibly could. I pitched artists, I pitched publicists, and we were able to do interviews with Rick Ross, Akon, Bone Thugs and Harmony. And, honestly, at the time, that was kind of unprecedented for college radio stations. No one was doing that. But that's definitively what led me to doing what we do now with DJ Booth. Without that opportunity, this wouldn't be what it is today.
Word. How long did the show run for?
The show ran for all 4 years of my college experience, and then what we basically did, since we did not want anybody else to carry on the Saturday Night Party legacy, we renamed the show to the pregame before we left, so if someone screwed it up, it was on them, not on us.
Nice. All right, so then how long, or did it happen with DJ Booth? When did the DJ Booth happen?
Okay, so basically senior year, so 2005, I realized that all the work I had been doing on college radio, it needed a home online. I needed to be able to get more value out of these interviews. And so I went to the library, I checked out a few books, and I tried to learn how to create a website and code it. And that is hard. I'm not that guy.
There was no Squarespace or anything like that back then. No. You had to open like Notepad or something and type it into HTML and
all coding. Yeah, I mean there was not the tumblers out there. There was no professional file sharing sites that you could upload audio to easily. There wasn't resources, and even at the time, the school that I went to, Illinois State University, they didn't offer courses in new media or social media. So I had to be self-taught, but I realized quickly it was too hard. At the time that I was DJing, I was introduced to another DJ, DJ D Mac, David Mackley, who went to school in New York. And he had a site called DJ Booth, and it was basically created for a school project of his. And essentially, I saw the site. It was strictly geared toward DJs, so mixer, turntable, headphone reviews, and DJs would post playlists from different colleges. I sent him an email, and I pitched him. I was like, look, I don't want any money. I basically want you to reformat your entire site and let me have creative control so that I can post my stuff up. And he called me 10 minutes later, and he goes, I love your ideas. Let's do it.
Wow.
Blew my mind.
This internet thing is awesome. This is great.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. To me, it was something that felt like a natural extension, but it was really more of a hobby. It was a hobby for him, and by extension, a hobby for me. So I would write album reviews. We'd post them. I would conduct interviews on the radio, and then we would take that audio and upload it and stream the audio of the interview on the site.
Now, where were you uploading it? Because I used to upload like video back in the day. Where were you uploading your stuff?
The audio was just uploaded to the server that we owned. So a back-end upload and then some sort of infancy stage player that was all sorts of large and crappy. But there was nothing else at the time, so it doesn't matter. And for the first year or so, it was just a hobby. I would find time to work on the site, every few hours in the evening, because after school I got a morning show job working as a producer.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I'd say after 9 months of working as a morning show producer, the station lost their sales director, freaked out, and got rid of everybody who they deemed dispensable. So DJs, producers, everybody who wasn't directly bringing money into the station.
Wow.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ever. I'm so glad that they let me go. Thank you, 9FM, for saying goodbye to me.
But you didn't realize it then. I mean, did you know it then, though?
I knew it within 2 weeks, actually, yeah.
Oh, really?
I'd say within 2 weeks, because I had a heart-to-heart with Dave, and I said, what do you think about me putting all my time and all my effort into DJ Booth instead of looking for another radio job? And he was like, we're not making any money, right? And I said, yeah, but, at the time I was young. I didn't know any better. I didn't have many bills. I was living at home with my parents. And
the trifecta.
I felt like if there's a time in your life where you can fall flat on your face and it only affects you, that was the time to do it. Didn't have a wife, didn't have kids. I wasn't financially responsible for anybody else. So I took a chance, and I'll give you the cliff notes, really. Within a year's time, we started making money. Within the following year, Dave quit his full-time job to come on board as well. We decided to turn DJ Booth into an LLC, and we became 50% partners. Dave responsible for all the business, technical, coding, back end, push the nerd glasses up your nose stuff. And I was responsible for all of the content that you read, that you saw, and that you heard. It was the perfect marriage. I couldn't do what he did. He could not do what I did. And I don't know, 6.5 years later, 7 years later, I'm talking to you guys about it right now.
That is, wow. Damn, I need to get on my job. I need to get my stuff together or something, because, okay, so All right, so because your official title is VP and editor-in-chief of
Right.
DJ Booth, right?
Right.
Now, all right, so you decided to be like, all right, we're not gonna do strictly reviews, DJ Booth, DJ things like related things solely. We're gonna branch out.
Right.
So that was all you.
Yeah, at the time, it seemed like the DJ market was too small. And that was just as digital music was really starting to take off. And if you think about it, guys, and feel free to disagree, essentially a DJ is a tastemaker. A DJ is someone who decides what they want to play, plays it for an audience, and then hopes that that audience is receptive to what they're playing. And really, that's what websites became. They became online DJs. They decided what they wanted to play, they played it for an audience, and then took that feedback they got from the audience and decided which way they wanted to go with it. So we decided, look, DJ Booth might have been birthed on the foundation of the DJ, but now the new age DJ is a website. So the idea of DJ Booth, like you're literally coming to the site, you're entering the DJ booth, you're listening to music, you become a tastemaker within the community of tastemakers that we've built. That's our explanation. That's at least what I've been telling people for the last 8 years. Does that sound good?
That is awesome, yes, because
that makes sense.
I believe it's like we're like filters, pretty much.
Right.
Saying like the radio, because there's so much, like not as much back then, but now with technology, everybody has
DJ.
Yeah.
Everyone's a DJ this day and age, though, because you got, like, they all have iPods, and, like, the young kids, they don't have albums on them. They all have single tracks. Right. So, like, they're, like, almost like DJs in the way they share it on, like, Instagram or Twitter, the now playing that you see up, right?
Right.
It's almost like everyone's a DJ these days, even if they're not doing it in any kind of radio capacity or even in an online capacity like you are.
I agree.
Now, let's talk about, okay, so like 6 months to a year, you're already monetizing the site. How? Don't mind me asking, because yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think most sites make money.
They don't. They don't. The most important thing that you have to do is you have to build up an audience. A lot of times you see publishers trying to monetize without an audience, and you can't monetize what isn't there. Within a few years of Dave and I both working full-time on the site, we quickly realized that content is king. If you don't have original content, you cannot expect to have a consistent flow of traffic. There's so many blogs and sites who are well-respected within the community online. The problem is they're aggregators. All they're really doing is they're taking a little bit from here and they're taking a little bit from there. They're not actually producing anything that's original around the content that exists. So we realized very quickly, let them do that. Everything that we publish is going to be 100% original and exclusive to DJ Booth. And if you can get a reputation for creating consistent, professional, reliable content that is educational, informative, humorous, I could go down the line, then that's what your audience is going to expect to get from you every time. Not, a bunch of behind-the-scenes videos at the new Rick Ross shoot. Like, who cares? Okay, you can only see so much of that stuff. Right. You want to know that when people come to your site, they know that they're going to be able to dive into what you have to offer, not just like stream a song or watch a video, but read content that is associated with that song, read a review that's associated with the new mixtape download, etc. So to answer your question, creating that content and having it be original is what allowed us to begin to monetize. We joined an ad network at the time. We were a part of the Vibe network. They since were bought out, they changed the name of the network, and then after changing the name of the network, they pretty much lost all the sites in the network. And then we eventually were asked to join the Complex Media Network, which is the network we're currently a part of. And within the urban landscape, Complex is arguably the #1, the beast. They have I'd say 90% of the reputable sites in the community, and they get all the advertisers.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they've done. I mean, because I've been, well, for people that may not know, Complex is like, I guess, the brainchild of Mark Echo. And
Right.
I was rocking Echo in like middle school when it was still ECHO. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Before they had to change the name. You know what I mean? And it's amazing to see what he was able. Have you ever met Mark Echo or?
No, I haven't,
Yeah.
and that's because when Complex Media Network, which was built on the back of Complex Magazine, when the publishing network really took off, Mark completely stepped away from everything. So
Yeah.
he's been completely hands off. I mean, I want to know that his involvement in the advertising side is nil. He's not a part of it at all. So
Because he probably doesn't know much about it. So he's like, I'm just going to let other people handle it and
Right.
let me focus on being creative.
right.
Oh, that's awesome. That is dope. So now let's talk about some ways that you built the community, because I'm very community oriented, because the
Right.
show's called Our Show for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm always looking for tips on trying to build this community. How did DJ Booth first build this community?
I think a big mistake that a lot of people make, especially within hip-hop and especially online, is they come across as untouchable. They come across as better than you. Or they come across as more knowledgeable or better looking or smarter, whatever the case may be. It's very arrogant, but in hip-hop, by its birthright, is quite egotistical. Very early on, we realized that attitude is not going to be what takes us to the next level. So when people left comments on the site, we directly responded. When people communicate with us on Facebook or Twitter, we directly responded. There's nothing cooler than knowing that the people behind your favorite website are actually the ones talking to you, that your presence on their platform is not, you're not just another number. You're someone who can directly communicate with the people who write the articles, who do the interviews, etc. So building a community is about letting your audience know that you're not untouchable. You're on the same level platform. I mean, I'm a guy. Like I'm an editor and I'm a former DJ, but I'm just a guy, and I want people to understand. Like I don't think I'm any better or any more special than anyone else. I'm playing a part and I love what I do, and I want them to know it because I'm telling them, not because they read my Twitter posts or something.
Oh, that's awesome, because that's the same thing I'm trying to do. Because with the radio show, I try to make it as interactive as possible. Like people, even I give them 2 sets of artists, and then they let me know through Twitter or Instagram or call the station which set they want to hear. So I'm trying to keep it as interactive as possible and trying to add another layer of community to radio. Because it's weird, because a lot of times radio is just one way. You may get somebody that call up, and I'm trying to increase that more. So yeah, so I'm digging what you said. I just don't really have a lot of time to. How do you get the time to just respond to everyone that? Well, I mean, I guess since you have the website, then everybody's coming to there. But now it's like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's trying to be everywhere.
It's hard. It's hard. And you asked, how do I find the time? I don't, because there isn't enough time in a day or in a week or a month. Luckily, because of our growth over the last 8 years, we've been fortunate enough to hire an amazing team. And without my team, we wouldn't be able to do all that we do. We have 2 full-time editors. We have 2 part-time editors, we have a brand manager, we have a head of video content, and we have a music staff with 5 kind of rotating part-timers. And so without this gigantic team who supports everything that we do, who works around the clock, the internet is funky, right? It's not a restaurant that has hours of operation. It's open 24/7. New music is released at 9 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock at night. There's no rhyme or reason. You just have to be ready. But by that same token, the fact that we always have access to our readers allows us to always communicate with them. We don't always have to push it off to the next day or wait till our inbox fills up, which that's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, I mean, to relate it to what you guys are doing, you know, anytime you get feedback through Twitter or Facebook, you know, read it on the air. Make sure that people know that their voices are being heard. There's nothing cooler. They'll tell their friends, who hopefully will tell their friends, who tell their friends, and then your audience is much bigger.
Yeah, well, because I always shout out everybody that, because like, okay, this is what I do with the show. I do like a live playlist on Twitter. So I will type out the artist that I'm playing on the show as I'm playing. So if people are listening, they'll be like, oh, okay, this is who's playing. So, and then I take like a short video of it and post it to Instagram. And so when people like it or heart it, I shout them out. You know what I'm saying like who liked what. Like Drunk Chick likes that, drunk_chick on Instagram likes that you're on the show today.
Wow.
Four Parallels Management. Four Parallels Management likes that you're on the show. Homie Chase March like that you're on the show. Deep from Two Hungry Bros like that you're on the show. So I mean, yeah, I try to keep it as, you know, interactive.
It's hard
as
to
possible.
find time to do that because, like, I don't know how to do it because, like, I'm trying to mix, you know, on my show, and like I do like what you used to do. I'll do a pre-recorded interview. I have like a 2-hour show, so I'll do the pre-recorded interview in my second hour most of the time. So then when people are called, I can't go on the air and say it because it's a pre-record, you know. So I don't know. It's tough to find.
It's tough, especially when it comes to interviews. I mean, what people don't understand on the outside, because it's like watching a movie. You don't really understand how many people are working on that movie until you see the behind-the-scenes footage. With an interview, you just hear the final finished product, but you don't know that it requires scheduling, research, question writing, conducting the interview, cutting up the interview, uploading the interview, featuring the interview, and then promoting the interview. That's like 9 steps for like 20 minutes worth of quality audio. So you really have to make the time. You have to make the time.
Yeah.
All right. So now, when about what year? Because I know there had been like a time when when DJ Booth became just DJ Booth. You know, like where just like a critical mass and stuff just happened. Like, do you remember when that point was?
I'd say somewhere between 2010 and 2011. I think we really became a known product. We started hosting mixtapes, and you know, whereas a lot of websites, they're only willing to jump on an artist's bandwagon once other sites post them or once another artist or DJ co-sign them. We've always basically operated as though if we like you, we're going to work with you, we're going to co-sign you. Other websites, be damned. And between 2010 and 2011, we were fortunate enough to work directly with Big Crit, Kendrick Lamar, Machine Gun Kelly, Yellow Wolf, Macklemore, and Ryan Lewis. And really, when you're a website and you're co-signing independent talent, you're only going to grow and be as large as that talent eventually is. So our hope has always been to grow with the artists that we work with. So, you know, for example, in 2011, we did a South by Southwest showcase in Austin. And it was in this little rinky-dink venue called the Dizzy Rooster, probably a max capacity before the fire marshal shuts you down of like 450 people. And I'm not kidding, our bill featured Big Crit pre-Def Jam deal, Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, and all Black Hippie pre-Interscope TDE deal, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis pre-Grammy nominations, and then we also had veterans in the game like Freeway and El Da Sensei and Trey the Truth.
Hell.
Oh.
Now, you look back at something like that and a showcase with those names on the bill, a bill that we co-sponsored and headlined with our friends at Two Dope Boys and the clothing company Last Rights. And, all we have to do is ever just point to that bill. Because the cumulative talent in that 50-person venue says it all. We were ahead of our curve.
Yeah, I mean, that's millions of records sold. That's yeah. All right, so now you mentioned South by Southwest. When did you guys know to kind of take it from offline and do like real world showcases? When did you know that the brand would be able to carry over?
That's a great question. Backtrack real quick 1 second. All those artists performed.
Hey, what you gotta do? Because I'm taking mental notes here. I'm gonna watch this YouTube video like 1,000 times. I'm gonna get 1,000 hits because I'm gonna watch it 1,000 times. So yeah.
That showcase, all those artists I named, they all performed for free. I mean, I can't even fathom how much their current booking agents would ask for them to do a show. Between Macklemore and Kendrick, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 400 and more for the two of them. But they did their show for free based on relationships. And we knew that to take what we were doing online, offline, we had to take those relationships with us because the artists involved need to understand what they're getting out of it. This whole hip-hop online, all reciprocation. The second you feel like you're doing more for the artist than they're able to do for you, that relationship is fractured. It's broken. And so we went to A3C in Atlanta, and we did CMJ in New York. We did South by Southwest in Austin. We wanted to make sure people understood that we were not a bunch of dudes in boxers in our mother's basement, you know, saying like, this guy's whack. Yes, I'm a hater. That's deserved. Like there's this unfair reputation of like bloggers that they're nobodies, that they're not qualified, that they're not educated, they just have an opinion and that they want it to be heard. That's not who we are. Nothing against a stereotypical blogger, but we're a site and a company made up of professionals, editors, DJs, people who are skilled at a craft and excel at that craft. And so by being out there in front of an audience and actually touching the people, figuratively, not literally, that allowed us to kind of allowed us to break down that barrier. Like, we're people, we want to connect with you, and now we're doing it. We're not just a website, we're a brand.
That's dope. So now, do you think actually bringing it out helped you guys even much more? Because, I mean, with the internet, that's an infinite kind of like resource. So there's always somebody hopping on. But with a showcase, you can only have like one show at a time pretty much. So do you think that like helped you guys, gain even more like stature?
Yeah, I think it's probably twofold. I think it helped our credibility amongst our colleagues. It helped our credibility and our reputation online as far as where do you fit in with all these other companies and other blogs and websites. We don't have a hard copy magazine. We're not a newspaper, and we don't have a television show. And so to separate us from the double XLs and the sources of the world, we needed to take that step. As far as the fans are concerned, though, there's not many websites that I visit where I can go and reach out to the people behind those sites live and in living color. They don't exist. And so to be able to do that, for someone to be a reader of the site and then be able to connect with the people that whose work that they read on a daily basis, it was vital, it was necessary, and humbly, based on the success that we've seen, it obviously proved to be a wise decision.
All right, word. Yeah, that's damn. All right, so now, okay, because A3C is coming up, what I mean? And what was the first festival that you guys kind of focused in on?
I'd say A3C because they were in their infancy stages, and so they really allowed us to grow with them. They understood what we were doing. They understood that we put an emphasis on showcasing independent talent. And at the beginning, A3C was all about independent talent. Obviously, they've grown, and so it's their responsibility to allow that growth to have more mainstream, household name artists participate. But at its core, A3C is about the same thing we're about, which is providing a platform for independent talent to be heard. And so they basically said, look, we're going to give you a stage, and you can program that stage however you want. And so we utilize those relationships that we spoke of earlier in our conversation today, and we said, hey, look, there's this festival down in Atlanta. We'd love to have you come down there and perform on the DJ booth stage. And the reception was great. And year after year, we did a showcase. Some of the artists who performed on our showcase down there, Crooked Eye, Big Crit, Tech 9, Yellow Wolf. I'm probably forgetting like 10 other artists. Those are the ones that pop up immediately. But yeah, I mean, it's a snowball effect, right? You do something with someone, it gets exposure, and everybody else wants to do it with you.
So now, okay, so then, because I'm trying to figure out this whole snowball thing. So now, you do the A3C, which is like a small, like, what year did you guys get involved with? Because they're celebrating 10 years now, which is amazing.
I'd say 2010 or 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting older. My memory sucks. So let's just say like a little while ago.
All right. And now, okay, so from that, how did you present that to like one of the larger, like more known festivals, like CMJ or South by Southwest?
You know, the beauty of it is that as far as South by Southwest is concerned, they came to us after the first year. They offered to help us program a showcase, which was amazing because we had a venue with 2 stages instead of 1, and A3C partnered up with us as well. I remember we had Mobb Deep headline, we had Brother Ali headline, we had Sir Michael Rocks, we had, look, it's just the snowball effect is all too real. You know, once you have a few people who understand what the end goal is, and everybody wants to do whatever they can to get to that point. You know, South by Southwest understands that we do hip hop, right? They're not; these guys aren't hip hop, right? They do festivals and they do them well. And so they brought us in, they brought A3C, and they brought some other cats in. Because they know that that's what we do well, and that's ultimately what makes people successful in collaboration. You have to trust that who you're working with, that they do what they do best, and they do that, you do what you do, and hopefully it all works out.
All right, so that goes back. So if I may, kind of like you have to be seen as an expert in like your niche and the go-to guy, pretty much, and prove that you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to be credible, right, Chase?
Yeah, because strangely enough, I started on Dope FM in Hamilton, and Word is Bond liked what I'm doing, and they reached out to me and asked me to start their podcast, and then that ballooned into a radio show, and then that ballooned into our show contacting me. So it's like I made those connections, still not making money, but at least I'm established as a authority when it comes to hip hop radio, I think. So.
Now, I wanted to ask, as far as location, because, you know, Chase is in a relatively smaller area in Canada, right? I know nothing about Canada except free healthcare. But is that true, Chase? Like, as far as you're in a smaller area, not like T.O. or anything, right?
No, Toronto's the place to be, or like Vancouver or Montreal, I think. Or, you know, those scenes are pretty big. So I'm in London, Ontario.
All right.
A little ways away from Toronto, but not too far. But we're getting that scene.
And my thing is, I'm in Orlando, Florida, which is not really known for a huge hip hop scene. Even though it's an awesome scene here, it's not really known on the map. You believe that location can kind of, you know, play a factor because it's you and DJ D-Mac in New York, right?
Well, at the beginning, it was just the 2 of us. I mean, now we have Nathan, who's in the Bay Area. He just moved up north from Los Angeles. Richard is one of our editors, and he lives in Brooklyn. And Lucas is an editor, and he lives in Maryland. And we have 3 graphics guys. One lives in Ohio, another one lives in Boston, and another one lives in New York. And we have music staffers that live in Atlanta, and Miami, and Austin, and Minneapolis. So, I mean, to answer your question, it doesn't really matter where you live because as long as you work on the internet and you have Wi-Fi, electricity, and probably, you know, let's say running water, you could do your job from just about anywhere.
Okay. But do you think that since you guys were like in bigger markets to begin with, do you think that helped with the connections and things though?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped. Obviously, being in a bigger market, you have a larger network with which to work. And ultimately, no matter how great a relationship is online, the only way to really extend that relationship is offline. There are cats that I've worked with for years, and the relationship was just fine. And then once we were able to actually connect in the real world, you know, shake the person's hand, look them in the face, and most of the time they were buying me food, which, you know, was nice. It elevated the relationship. When someone is in your city and they make it known that you are important enough for them to go out of their way to see you, that changes things, and it makes you want to work more in their behalf. With that said, anyone who's ever taken me out for a meal or given me drinks, and it's wonderful and all, if the artist you're working with, their music sucks, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we stay true to who we are, and the people that we've worked with for a long time, they know that, and they respect it.
Word. Damn, all right. So I'm about to make this flight to Chicago or something. And,
should. Just don't come during the winter.
I've never seen snow, and I don't plan on it. So, born and raised in Florida.
You've never seen snow?
On TV. That's the only, and that's as close as I need to be to snow.
Last winter, I know Chase has seen, Chase has seen some snow.
I think we're getting snow next week, man. It's like it's seriously pretty cold already.
One of my first meetings with Chase, he was like, "Yeah, it's pretty warm outside. It's like 0 degrees." I'm like, "Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm out in shorts, having a good time skateboarding." I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Well, Chase was probably giving you the weather in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit, so it probably wasn't as cold as 0 is for us here in the States. Yeah. But either way,
either way, no.
Yeah.
Cool. No, when it precipitates as ice, I'm cool. I don't need to be there. It's the 21st century. I can choose not to be there. I'm not hunting for walrus or anything. I'm good. I don't need to be there. But so now back to this thing. All right. So now, because and I'm sorry for keeping you. You know what I'm saying? But this is so much knowledge, and this is
that's
awesome.
Okay.
So thank you. All right. So now you guys have built up the brand, and I know technology from you said you're coding it like straight notepad, straight code to now. How has the technology like influenced or affected how DJ Booth runs from the beginning to where it is now?
It's a great question, and it's a very timely question because just in the last 3 months, we've made a lot of changes to the browsability of the site with technology in mind. We've reached a point now where more than 50% of our readership is mobile. And so we invested a lot in the mobile version of the site. We invested in the iTunes download of the DJ Booth mobile app. And we invested a lot into the browsability of the desktop version, which is also what you get on a tablet, like infinite scroll, a 360 player. So basically, if we get content and it's in MP3 form, or if we get content in SoundCloud, Audio Mac, or YouTube form, we have a 360 player that basically allows all of them to play through one button. Nice. So if it's SoundCloud, it'll just start streaming. If it's YouTube, it'll pop right up on the screen. Basically, we want people to come to the site and stick around for a while. And so we made it easier for them to do that. Because before, you'd have pop-up windows, you'd have to skip to a second page to either watch a video or stream something. You can literally come to the homepage and you can click around for 40 minutes, and it's just a very easy, enjoyable experience. A lot of our colleagues, our contemporaries, if you will, their motivations are strictly like, how many page views can we get? And ultimately, what people on the outside don't understand is page views is what eventually gets checks in our mailbox, which is what allows us to keep the lights on. So everybody wants page views. But if you make the user experience better through technology, people will come back more often. And if they come back more often, you hope eventually that makes up for less page views each time they do come, because they're coming in quantity now, because the quality of the experience is better. So they go hand in hand, and the feedback we've gotten thus far since we made most of these changes has been extremely favorable. So up to this point, I couldn't be happier.
That's dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, because I hate those like top 20 lists that people put up, and you have to click 20 times to see what it is. Nothing more annoying than that.
Yeah, that stuff sucks. Yeah, we call those listicles. They're lists playing themselves out as articles. Listicles. We don't do that. You can actually go to the top 20s section of the site, which is our charts section, It's updated once a week, and it literally is what is the best of the last week based on metrics, no opinion. So page views, plays, and social shares. And you can literally, on one of the top 20 charts, we have top overall, top rap, top R&B pop, top club, top indie, and top albums. On any of these top charts pages, you can literally go through the entire chart without leaving that page because it has infinite streaming. So after the first song is done, it automatically goes into the second one, regardless if it goes from YouTube to SoundCloud to MP3 or vice versa. Technology is beautiful, guys.
That is awesome.
Beautiful.
And I like what you're saying because it's kind of like what YouTube is going through, where it's not how many views really, but how long somebody spent on there watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, if you're an artist, right, and hopefully some artists are listening and watching our interview this afternoon. If you're an artist and you put out a new music video, would you rather have 5,000 views and the average view time for those 5,000 views is 25 seconds, so like barely into your first verse, or would you rather have 500 views and the average view time for those 500 views is the entire length of your full music video? Look, someone can't become a fan if they listen for 25 seconds. If they turn it off after 25 seconds, you failed. Like, you didn't do your job. You didn't pull them in. Your pitch was not strong enough musically. So metrics are very important, and it's not, just like I tell artists all the time, don't get wrapped up in download numbers and in stream numbers and in social network numbers. Get wrapped up in numbers that actually translate to success, which is how many people are fans of your music who are going to support anything that you do.
Nice, nice. Are you familiar with the 1,000 True Fans, Kevin? About like if you can get 1,000 people who really dig your music to spend like $100 in a year, that's 100 G's.
Yeah, there are plenty of independent artists, veterans, who actually base their entire year around that sort of business strategy. Artists like Torre, artists like Skyzoo, Joel Ortiz, separate from Slaughterhouse, Crooked Eye, separate from Slaughterhouse, and then of course a lot of the guys who do Rhyme Sayers and Duck Down. I mean, these independent labels and these artists, they base their entire business strategy every year around that same concept. If we can get X amount of fans to support with X amount of dollars, whether it be through a digital purchase, merchandise, or when they're live in your city, you come to see them at $35, $40 a pop. You can operate very easily with minimal costs because there is not a large overhead and be extremely successful in today's day and age. You don't need a major label to take 75, 80, 90% of the pie. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, word. So now, and it's dope because one of those labels like Jamla. I know you guys have been working with like Ninth Wonder for a minute.
Love those guys.
And I recently bought the Hollow joint, the Mansu Musa.
Mansu Musa, yes, with Master Killer.
I got it from DJ Booth because I'm not a big Apple iTunes guy. I like to own the music. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to have it. I don't need a play or anything. So when did you guys realize like, all right, so we can start, not just having it stream, but we could also help these artists sell their music? When did that happen?
Actually, Ninth Wonder and Jamla, they played a large role in that because I think it was a conversation with Ninth Wonder at A3C, let's say that.
I just kind of knew that right there, yeah.
Back in 2011, 2012, and he said, you guys should sell music, and we had talked about it for a while, and his motivation behind asking that question was, he had plans, big plans for Jamla and all the artists, and to have an additional platform with which to sell that music was critical because there are a lot of people like yourself, Conshus, they don't want to go to the iTunes store. They don't want M4A files, and they prefer to get it from somewhere else. And for us, it was like, let's get this straight, right? So you're on DJ Booth, you read about a new Jamla artist, let's say Rhapsody. You read about Rhapsody, you just streamed her music on the site, and now that you want to buy it, we're going to send you away from DJ Booth? Makes no sense. We want to get you there and keep you there. And so why not make it all-encompassing? And besides, as an artist, our pitch to the artists were, look, if someone leaves DJ Booth to purchase your music, there's a chance that they don't follow through. Once they leave, there's no guarantee they're going to get to where they want to get to buy it. But if you allow us to sell it on DJ Booth, you're right there. It's literally one click. I mean, you made a purchase on the site. Was it not super easy?
It was so damn easy. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Yeah. It was one. It was like 1-2 clicks. Like the other click was to go to my email to go download the link. It was really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, look, the concept really is, let's say your girlfriend gives you a list of stuff you need to go to the store to buy, right? The list says milk, eggs, and honey, and you go to the store and you get milk, eggs, and honey. But then when you're in line to check out, you see a Butterfinger. That Butterfinger was not on the list, but you want it, and you're going to grab it. Why? Because it's convenient. It's there. It's not hard or difficult to grab it before you go. Same idea. You're already at DJ Booth. Your idea was, I'm going to come check this website out to read more about artists X, Y, and Z. Oh, I didn't know about this other artist. I'm already here. Why would I leave to go get my music elsewhere? I'll just buy it from them. Same idea, guys. Super simple.
Nah, that is
Wicked.
Awesome. Chase, you want to say something?
Nah, that's a great concept, because like you, I don't like iTunes. I'd rather buy it off of Bandcamp because it feels like it's more, going to the artist or something.
Right.
So.
Right. That's a big thing too. Percentages. Our pitch to artists was very clear. Whatever iTunes is taking away from you, we're going to take less. The percentage is going to be more in your favor. Make more money off of your music. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because I saw there's this commercial on the radio about insurance or something, and the guy's shopping around for it, and the guy says, "Well, you don't shop around for, you go to iTunes for music, right? And you go to Google to search things." I was like, "What? Like iTunes is like the only source for music? Like that's wrong, man."
Nah.
And what's dope is that you guys, like you were saying, you have content around it. Because iTunes isn't going to do articles and original content on the art. They just sell it. They don't talk about it. There's nothing. You know what I mean? You guys give a more in-depth version. It gives the customer a more well-informed purchase, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you hope so. I mean, iTunes has done a lot of pre-release streams, which is something that we've been doing for years. But if you can't build content around it, like you just said, the music by itself might not be enough of a sell job. If you're an independent artist and you want to do a listening session with DJ Booth, that's what we call them. Prior to the release, what we will do is we'll have an editor craft a preview of your project. So there's a written component. And then on top of the written component, on the same page, there will be a non-embeddable full stream of the album. So you have a written component and an audible component. Then, if you're selling the project, on the day of the release, a buy button is introduced to that page. So you can now read about the project, listen to it in full, and then buy it all from one page. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to Google to see what else other people think, because community members on the site probably already left feedback, so you have that. You want to see whether or not it's being shared on social. That information is on the page as well. All these tools, assets available to the artists and to their fans. It works for everybody, and we're happy to provide that platform for all.
That's awesome. And then speaking of this, another thing, another platform, podcasts, because you guys got Redefined Hype, right?
Yeah, it's the Week in Hype podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now how did that come about?
So we used to have a site called Refined Hype. It was one of the sites that we owned and operated. And Nathan Slavic, our managing editor from the Bay, he is the brainchild behind Refined Hype. And eventually we decided to merge the quality editorial content from Refined Hype into DJ Booth. And we took that podcast, which originated and was just carried it over to DJ Booth. Podcasts are great. They're a way to further extend your brand, and there are plenty of people who they're commuting to work, they're commuting to school, they have downtime between work or school, and they want to listen to something that's funny and educational and thought-provoking. As the host, Nathan does a great job of that. He brings on DJs, artists, producers, record executives, great guests, talks to them about what's happening right now in the industry. and it's a good listen. So go to the iTunes store. That's the only way that I will promote the iTunes store. Go there and subscribe to the podcast. And if you have an iPod, it'll automatically download the Week in Hype podcast to your iPod.
Yeah, that's dope because realize the same thing with the radio show because I can't expect people now to be able to sit on a Saturday afternoon from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. every week to catch my show. So I record the shows and I place them online. And we've been doing, we get like 1,500 downloads of the show a week. And it's amazing. People from all over the world will download it. It's awesome. And so,
great.
What's up?
I just said it's great because it's an extension of what you're doing. And for anybody who couldn't listen, tune in, watch live, well, they're not going to miss it.
Exactly. Now, my added value is that you won't really be able to get like the giveaways because I like to do the giveaways live.
Right.
So that's incentive to tune in early. But yeah, so I know you have to go, and yeah, it's awesome. So that's wow. Thank you. I mean, it's been amazing, and so kind of what do you guys have coming up? I know most recently we got A3C. What are you guys doing A3C? Because it's not necessarily a showcase, right?
Right. So we decided last year that we wanted to graduate from showcases and do more. We did a roundtable discussion last year with Chuck English, Cool Kids producer, and kind of like a seminar. This year we're teaming up with A3C along with their pro audio section, and we are going to be the official media provider of the festival. So we're going to coordinate freestyle sessions, ciphers, interviews, and lots of quality content amongst the artists and that obviously allows for the festival to have legs. So once the festival's over, the content that we grab during its time will live on our site. We're going to premiere most of that content on DJ Booth TV on our YouTube channel and across the site. And then obviously, as we touched on earlier in the program, much of the artists who are going down there, they're not just going to perform on their showcase and be done. This content and these initiatives will allow their experience down there to be documented and for them to feel like their trips were more justified than just a performance.
All right, word. And then anything else? Because like we're going down there also. This is our second year going, and we're like these interviews. We're going to be doing more of that. Like last year, we interviewed DJ Premier. We interviewed Rock from Helter Skelter. We interviewed Talib Kweli. We interviewed Ari the Rugged Man. It was amazing. Like this artists just kept coming in, and we just kept interviewing. So we're going to do that, and I got a couple ideas for some more like original content in addition to the thing. So it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be, for people I don't know, I've been talking about A3C for a minute, and yeah, it's going to be great. So what else in addition do you guys have coming up?
All right, so additionally, what do we have coming up? We have the DJ Booth City Cypher Series. Essentially, we map out and plan city ciphers. We did one in Brooklyn a few months back. We're going to be bringing it to other cities across the country. And
I think I saw one. It was like on a rooftop or something.
Yep.
Okay.
It was on a rooftop. It was with Emilio Rojas,
Yes.
Knight from Pro Era, Matthew Ragazzino, HD, and Black Dave. And essentially, we're going to continue to do that in different cities across the United States. We just started a new series with Joel Ortiz called Fade to Famous, where Joel, basically along with the DJ Booth crew, hosts up in different boroughs in New York, and it's an open casting call to local MCs to participate. We just filmed one 2 weeks ago in Brooklyn at the Fade to Famous Barbershop, and we had an open casting call. 150 local MCs showed up. We picked 5, and Joel did a cypher with 5 of the MCs selected. So we're going to be doing that.
Awesome.
Brooklyn's already down. We're going to be doing Queens next. What else do we have? We have a lot of DJ Booth TV initiatives, one of which is called Rap Box. And essentially, we pair a rapper with a beatboxer in a unique location, and they do their thing.
That walking on a pier. Who was it?
Yeah, we just did one with Mick Jenkins, super talented artist out of Chicago. We paired him up with a beatboxer at Coney Island, and the symbolism, of course, is his new album is called The Waters, and Coney Island is the boardwalk off the water. Get it?
Nice.
yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of Rapbox features and New York market. Basically, when they slide through, they let us know, and we coordinate with our head of video, which is Erickson. And then a lot of just other video content. That's really our focus right now is original video content, building up our YouTube channel, and having a voice visually instead of just written and audibly. But I just thank you so much for having me on. This was a pleasure, and hopefully I held up my end of the bargain and provided enough.
You tipped it over. You threw it off the cliff like damn. Thank you. Wow. This is amazing. And I'm sorry. I was like, 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, it's almost an hour. So, and I thank you very much for your time and the knowledge that you dropped, because it's been amazing. If you ever need anything in Orlando, you know what I'm saying? Right here, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we have a dope scene. And,
You know what I need? I need you to push up some of the sunshine during the winter months. So from, like, let's say December 15th through March 31st, if you want to like push up north to Chicago, that would be wonderful. But for anybody who's listening,
don't worry, global warming is going to handle all that. Don't worry, global warming is going to handle all that for you.
I'd be remiss if I did not plug our social networks. So on Twitter, we're just at DJ Booth. On Facebook, we're DJ Booth Net. On Instagram, all lowercase DJ Booth, and of course djbooth.net. And then our sister site, which has grown tremendously in the last few years, professional file sharing site, audiomac.com. That is in our control as well. So feel free to check that out. And guys, once again, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. And we'll definitely be in touch. And this was awesome. I really appreciate the time. Chase, anything last words, real quick?
Yeah, thanks a lot. This has been great, educational for anyone out there doing what we're doing online and in radio. So thanks for those wise words, man.
You're very welcome. Besides, it's our show. So,
exactly. Thank you. You get it.
I now feel like I'm a part of it. Thanks, guys.
See, he gets it. That is see, we're here. We're here, and we're on the video, and it's YouTube. We're there. That's awesome. So, thank you again. Anything you need, let me know. Appreciate you, though.
Absolutely. Conshus, Chase, thank you, guys.
Be easy. That was awesome. Damn. Chase, wow, that's another awesome Access interview. That was
very nice stuff, sir.
Damn, this is fresh. Like, I knew it was gonna be like informative, but damn, like there's like actionable things people can do to get this stuff together. That is awesome. Yep. That is awesome. Very cool. Chase, what else you got coming up, sir?
Dirty Thursday up here in London. Every other Thursday, it's a free hip hop show focusing on local content, and they just did this rap battle series, and they crowned a champion and gave him a belt, like a wrestling belt and everything. And so I signed up for the second round, and I battled on Thursday, and I won.
Nice.
So I'm going against another guy next week, and the winner of that is going against the champion. So in 2 battles, I could have that belt if all goes well.
Nice. And you'll be able to show it off. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm working on some good stuff coming up, too. So, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I had Apollo Brown and Razkaz on the phone the other day.
That's funny, because we're supposed to have them in a couple of weeks. It's supposed to be this week, but then things got messed up. So, yeah.
Well, I hope you get them, because I had a computer problem and I lost half of the interview.
Oh, damn.
I can't get it back. I can't figure it's gone. So I have half an interview with them, which is nice. But if we get them on this platform too, I can put it together and have a whole interview with some kind of ending.
Like October 4th, I believe. Don't hold me to that yet, but yes, it's supposed to be tentatively scheduled October 4th before we go to APC.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Good, because I tried to see if I could get them back, but I might just have to use half the interview and then apologize for losing half of it and run that on my show. So
no doubt.
Technology. You know what's crazy? I was like, I should be backing this up with my cassette deck like I used to. But I'm like, nah, I don't need to do that. Maybe I should start using Google Hangouts, because these things seem to be maybe more reliable than Skype sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, so you have Skype. Okay. All right.
Well,
Yeah,
the
'cause
thing with Skype is I can call phone lines, so like I can call someone on their phone, and sometimes it's more convenient for them that way.
Oh, you can do that through Google Hangouts too. 'Cause there's like an app, like you can dial numbers and call.
Ooh. See, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to look into this more because I don't know what I'm doing. I just show up on yours and click a button, and here I am. So
exactly.
I gotta
You
figure out
probably
how to do it myself, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you need any help, let me know. You know what I'm saying? We can work this out for you. You know what I'm saying? Good family.
Cool, bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right, you already know. So, cool. So I'm just gonna go back and play some more music for like another hour and 15 minutes. And yeah. So again, when are your shows on?
Monday nights, 94.9 CHRW. You can stream that. Like, use the TuneIn app. That's awesome. I listen to TuneIn Radio all the time for campus radio. So look for CHRW. Word is Bond. Monday night, midnight to 2 a.m. Saturday night, look for CS.3. So that's tonight. You can listen to the show midnight. I've got Niguana and Mad Hatter on the program tonight. Amazing, really cool local dudes. I think Niguana's one of the best MCs I've ever heard. He's phenomenal. So you guys should check for that.
I mean, hey, if you want to send me music, as long as it's clean, you know what I'm saying? You can put me on some Canadian stuff, some Hamilton goodness.
I'll have to ask him for some cleans because I don't. Everything I have of his is dirty. So
pretty much, and that's why a lot of rappers I just can't play.
I bet you he's got to have some cleans. I'll ask him about that and send you some.
All right, cool, sounds good. So again, sir, thank you very much, and we'll be doing this again soon.
Excellent.
All right, so chasemarsh.com as if you're running after the month.
Yes, and thewordisbond.com. Those are the two places you want to check.
Thewordisbond.com. All right, cool. And then people may be watching this afterwards. The radio show's website is itsourshow.net. And if you want to see somebody on the show for these interviews, leave a comment or something in the comment section. So, yeah, I always forget to do those things because I'm always like, oh, we're live on air. And then, yeah, I forgot that it's YouTube. And so if you want to see somebody or if you have questions or whatever you want me to ask DJ Z later on in a follow-up, leave it in the comment. And like the video, please, and subscribe if you haven't already. So, yeah. All right.
Awesome.
All right, so thank you very much. And until the next interview.
All right. Be easy.
All right, so, be easy. Peace.
Thanks, man.
All right, hey, anytime. All right, word up. So we're going to get back to these joints. You tune into our show right here, WPRK, Winter Park, Florida, 91.5 FM. Yeah, itsourshow.net. Twitter, Our Show, OURSHOW. Instagram, Our Show. And yeah, I'm going to start this broadcast.